Welcome to Kaumudy Global. Members of the group of 20 leading economies entered their summit on Wednesday with a declaration of firm condemnation of the war in Ukraine and a warning that the conflict is making an already delicate world economy worse. The summit's closing statement was noteworthy because world leaders managed to highlight a denunciation of the war despite the divisions among the group, which includes not only Russia but also countries such as China and India that have significant trade ties with Moscow and have stopped short of outright criticism of the war. Most members strongly condemned the war in Ukraine and stressed it is causing immense human suffering and exacerbating existing fragilities in the global economy. The statement said, the use of the words most members was a telling sign of the divisions, as was an acknowledgement that there were other views and different assessments, and that the G20 is not the forum to resolve security issues. Besides the sober sessions of meetings and discussions, there were also some light moments shared by leaders, as well as some private interactions among them. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was seen standing his ground during a chat with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Indonesia's Bali. This brisk exchange was caught on camera. Everything we discussed has been leaked to the papers. That is not appropriate, and that was not the way the conversation was conducted. Xi was heard telling Trudeau on Wednesday through a translator at the closing session of the G20. The Canadian Prime Minister was then heard responding cordially. In Canada, we believe in free and open and frank dialogue, and that is what we will continue to have. We will continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on. After Trudeau's response, the two shook hands and went separate ways, with Xi maintaining his demeanor of a smiling but disappointed headmaster and saying, "That's great, but let's create the conditions first." The exchange was recorded by a camera crew at the venue. Now watch that interaction.
Everything we discuss is then leaked to the paper. That's not appropriate.
而且我们也不是那样进行的。
And that's not how the way the conversation was
如
conducted.
果有诚心，咱们就用一种互相尊重的态度来进行很好的沟通。
If there is
否则，这个结果就不好说了。
if
In
there is
Canada, we
sincerity
believe
on your
in
part,
free and open and frank dialogue, and that is what we will continue to have. We will continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will have
有
to
些可以
continue.
建设性，但是
创造条件，创造条件。
Let's create the conditions first.
好。
Trudeau spoke with Xi on Tuesday, and his office said that he had raised concerns about Chinese interference in Canadian elections. He also raised the war in Ukraine, North Korea, and climate change in the 10-minute conversation, according to reports quoting a government source. The exchange with Trudeau was not the only obstacle for Xi at the event. A scheduled meeting between him and British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was called off due to time pressures, according to UK newspaper Guardian. Meanwhile, in their first meeting in public view since the India-China border standoff began in 2020, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping shook hands and spoke to each other at the G20 summit in Bali on Tuesday. While there was no substantiative readout on their conversation captured by the cameras at the G20 summit dinner, sources said the Prime Minister and President Xi Jinping, who were both attending the G20 dinner hosted by the Indonesian President, exchanged courtesies at the conclusion of the dinner. I'm KC Ashok for Kaumudy Global, signing off. Kindly subscribe to our channel for more news stories. Also, write to us at kaumudyglobal@gmail.com.